I'm going from Academy to LCS. What am I really going to learn that I already know? I'm like, I already know everything. This is simple. I'm going to get in there, play laning phase, and just do what I do in Academy. I do everything wrong. Like, I get in there, I'm already doing everything wrong based off the first game. I have like 20 mistakes. I'm like, wait, am I really this bad? So joining LCS, it's like, it's a lot of change, a lot of new things to learn that I didn't expect to learn myself. But it feels good to be on FlyQuest and learn these stuff without any pressure.
And now he's the one teaching everyone how good Riven is.
I mean, sometimes you come in and you know, you're the hothead. You're like, I know everything. So people can still learn something from you, even if it's confidence.
Have to agree with that. And hello, thank you for joining us for Game 4, Counter Logic Gaming versus FlyQuest. Let's jump into the players. Taking to the stage on the blue side, it's FlyQuest. In the top, we just heard from him, it is the rookie Viper. In the jungle, Santorin, mid laner Pobelter, bot and support, WildTurtle and JayJ, and Coach Invert.
And selecting red side like everybody else has been today, it's Counter Logic Gaming. In the top lane, it's Darshan, jungler is Wiggily, mid is PowerOfEvil, bot is Stixxay with support Biofrost, and Coach Weldon.
Now, both of these teams faced the number 2 and 3 teams in the league last weekend in Cloud9 and TSM, and they both suffered an O2 weekend. But it's like they say, Zyrene, not all O2s are created equal.
Oh, absolutely not. Counter Logic Gaming, they delivered on record-setting bad performances, and the team knows it. So coming into this, they kind of have to think of what they need to fix, and a lot of it is, they can't start falling behind that early. On cooldown, Wiggily placed a lot of the blame solely on the team for how poorly things played out, citing that if they don't give away kills, they can certainly compete with their opponents this week. But it's FlyQuest. It's not one of those top 2 or 3 teams. It's a team that's right below you or right above you in the standings, so they can tie them with a win.
You certainly hope that they come with that kind of clarity, because even though FlyQuest lost to Cloud9 and TSM as well, they had leads in both their matches.
And that's why 2-0s aren't created equally, because FlyQuest, they had a close O2 week where they spent 36.1% of their games with a major lead and only 7.6% of the 2 games considerably behind. So losses came from execution errors in the later part of the game, critical team play errors in both games where they lost their lead because the other team kind of killed 1 or 2 people, and then they did Baron. And versus TSM, it was the lack of Santorin backing and not committing to the top side team fight, while the rest of the team did. And versus Cloud9, it was WildTurtle walking through the top lane turret and just dying alongside the rest of the team that started trickling in. And really, that's been the thing for FlyQuest. They started off really strong with the team fighting and flanking, but the teams at the top, like TL, TSM, and C9, have grown and passed FlyQuest in what was their strong suit. So they need to refine their strength of teamwork by shoring up their weaknesses that have been showing up in individual mistakes.
Well, we'll have to see what shakes out here in the draft. FlyQuest, as you mentioned, on the blue side, after CLG picked red, will ban Yorick away. And there's Lucian, who's getting an awful lot of expected bans on the red side.
Even though he got nerfed with the W, it was just, people can still max the Q. It's still a great ability. But it has freed up a lot of the bans where Urgot isn't a must ban. Aatrox is now very questionable. Cassiopeia has even dropped off a lot of people's lists, but still finds some bans in North America. So I like that the bans are freed up and you can target ban more and more on this patch.
See that a little here with the Nocturne ban as well by FlyQuest, so taking that away from Wiggily. Also, Jace will be banned by Counter Logic Gaming, so clearly something Viper and I assume Pobelter have been practicing. But as you mentioned, Jace, we've already seen him in 4 roles in the LCS.
Yeah, Jace is just kind of the flex pick to get rid of because he's annoying. Because he can be played in 4 roles and it allows people a lot of flexibility on blue or red side to kind of hide things. And get a favorable matchup for him. It feels like they're just getting him away so they don't have to think about that. He's one of the most banned champions across the world now because of that.
Also, Thresh banned away from Biofrost by FlyQuest, so we'll see how the rest of this all happens. Silas getting banned away by CLG is becoming increasingly popular as a red side ban, given the strength and flexibility of that champion.
Yep, he's very, very present in the mid lane globally. Not as much top lane, but he does have the flexibility, which is what you're talking about.
Well, stealing away the Ezreal here for FlyQuest, so that's why they took away the Thresh. We've seen a lot of Tahm Kench as well from Biofrost, and of course, we've talked at length about Darshan Sion, but CLG do want to short in their bot lane ASAP. They'll take Sivir and Braum.
Yep, you want to take the Braum away so it's not Ezreal Braum, this really dominant early game and kind of late game bot lane. because Ezreal's supposed to be meh at the early parts as he gets tier stacking, but the Braum enables him to go ahead and just have engages that he wants to. Now, CLG have a good core to build bruisers around and start going for even a tankier composition too. So melees fit into this comp for CLG really well with the Braum and the Sivir speeding people up.
There is Alistar there. Looks like the Bard Flash was just poking some fun at Biofrost. He was a very good Bard, but unfortunately I don't think we'll see that champion for quite a while. And one more pick to come now for FlyQuest here. We'll see what direction they want to go. Do they want to pick a flex pick to try and get their solo lanes moving? Do they just take a jungler here for Santorin? Lots of options here.
Whoa!
And Riven will get picked up.
Okay, that's a really early Riven here. He has no idea what he's going to play it into, but he's just saying, Darshan, you can play anything into me, and I'll be fine playing into that. That is actually insane. It could be a flex pick too.
I'll have to find the tweet, but at one point, Viper, when he was playing in Academy, did tweet that you can play Riven into anything, was effectively the tweet that he made out. So he's clearly very well-versed and very confident. Riven also gained even more win rate when Conqueror got changed, so he's clearly happy with these changes, despite the hotfix coming in and reducing the power of that somewhat. There won't be a top lane pick either here for CLG as they give Sejuani over to Wiggily, so it's kind of the gauntlet being thrown down, I feel like. Viper, I mean, he's one of the newest players to the league, playing one of the oldest as far as experience goes. And he's saying, yeah, Darshan, what you got? Because if it's Sion, I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, Sion got nerfed previously. And the last time these two teams played each other, though, that was the 11k HP Sion with the FlyQuest versus CLG. FlyQuest got ahead early. CLG crawled their way back in because FlyQuest weren't proactive. And so we'll see what CLG drafts here in the top lane. Now, I think they will still leave that for later in the draft. Actually, I take it back. I think that they'll pick their top laner next, and then they'll pick their mid laner because they want something for PoE. Because I was like, it's PowerOfEvil in the mid lane. He's going to want that favorable matchup. Doesn't matter if the Riven gets flexed to jungle, because I saw that in the LCK, and it was actually rather good at team fighting and having mobility. That's the thing that people don't remember about Riven is she has effectively 2 sources of crowd control that are AoE for a big team fight. So she is actually a really good team fighter.
Yep, kind of the burden of execution is the tough part on Riven, but certainly we know Viper has gotten that down, as J4 will be the ban there for CLG, which also does target top and jungle. I think more jungle given what we've seen so far. There's Poppy also banned, so continuing to add to the narrative alongside Renekton that this will be Viper's Riven in the top lane.
And these are 2 counters to it. The Renekton will kind of destroy it in the early game, can use Conqueror himself, and then Poppy is very annoying for the Riven to play against because you can block the 3rd Q, you can block the E dash, which is a big part of a lot of the cancels and combos, and it's quite favorable, I would say, into the Riven. Sure, you don't stomp it, but you really stuff it.
It's honestly miserable if you fall behind. Poppy is just very frustrating champion to deal with. So is Zoe, so that will be the pick up there for CLG. They are actually giving Darshan last pick though.
I'm actually shocked at that. So they're saying, let's just not risk it. Zoe's a good enough blind pick into anything right now that they'll deal with it, especially with the LeBlanc taken away.
And looks like it'll stay safe here perhaps in the mid lane as Orianna is the hover.
Orianna, Syndra are like the only 2 that I would really say you might want to pick into it, and you already have the Alistar to combo with it, and it gives you more team fighting presence too. You can go ahead and throw the ball on the Riven if you wanted to.
We'll see what the last pick is here, because between Viper and Santorin, FlyQuest do need to finish off this draft. I imagine, again, Santorin also probably talking to his coach as he's there on screen. So I think just discussing what jungle picks they'd want there against the Sejuani. Santorin has been very versatile as a player, been very impressive so far in FlyQuest, and he'll fall back to Olaf for this game.
Yeah, I was like, there's so many things that you could go for. Looking at the enemy team composition, I wouldn't say go for something that's super early game, like a Rek'Sai or even a Lee Sin. I wouldn't want to play into this, but I would want a little bit more engaged. So he's going for something that can dominate the jungle and kind of play off the fact they have a Sejuani, and you'll be able to kind of play to your lanes and get the Riven ahead based on whatever matchup it is. So you'll have a stronger 2v2 jungle. And now Darshan, he's going back to the Jax.
It's back. Jax, last pick there for CLG. Don't think that's Viper's Orianna as they do swap back and forth. But
look at that, 100% win rate. Yeah.
Darshan didn't play the Jax.
No, that wasn't his.
Yeah.
But it's definitely a champion that I remember him for back in the Dignitas days. You go all the way back, you're like, oh yeah, Zion Spartan, you're just gonna slam turrets with that and have split pushing back doors. And Spear of Sojin is fantastic on him, and it fits right into his build. A lot of Rivens will still go for Death's Dance and Black Cleaver, and Jax just wants Trinity Force into Spear of Sojin. It fits right into his build perfectly. So we'll see if he builds that second and how many E's he can get off in these fights, or if he can even get to that point.
And there's certainly a difference here for Darshan. We've, again, seen a lot of success with really solid bot lanes there for CLG, with PowerOfEvil on basically whatever pick he feels like that he can succeed on, and Darshan on something really stable where they can team fight in the late game. So Jax is a departure from that sort of style. You are kind of throwing the gauntlet back at Viper, I feel like, after this blind pick Riven, but certainly a potentially volatile top lane matchup, because I think if either of these champions take over, they'll have a huge impact on the result of the game.
Yeah, and that's why I'm watching the junglers again. Whenever it's top laners, it's like, all right, it's not an island. Everybody thinks it's an island, but when you look at the 2v2, I think both of them are actually quite potent. Santorin will bring a lot of damage with the Olaf, but at the same time, Jax plus Sejuani is great. You jump on him with Q, smack him with the W resets, you stack that stun real fast. I'm watching the top side.
Well, FlyQuest versus CLG. Let's get it going. CLG still looking to scrounge up some wins. In fact, both these teams would much rather start 1-0 than finish 0-2, which of course was the fate of their last weekends.
And it's so funny because FlyQuest, they were in contention for top spots for a bit. Everybody's like, man, maybe they are like a top 4, top 3 team. And then they started having this slip with the 0-2 weekend last week. And those 2 games, though, FlyQuest doesn't feel like their record reflects how good they are, because they've had leads in almost all of the games they've lost. They've been so close. Like we said, they were winning both against Cloud9 and TSM, and then they just dropped the ball. They could have been 7-3 by a few plays. CLG, on the other hand, though, they've had games where they're just falling behind so quickly, and that's why this game, I'm really watching Wiggily to see what he can get done in the early game, especially as the Sejuani. Even if it's just avoiding Santorin and not letting the game get out of hand, that's going to be enough to be like, all right, we'll set up for the scaling.
I think for CLG, certainly seeking consistency, perhaps more than anything else. FlyQuest in a similar vein, but they're challenging for different spots up in the standings.
Well, they should have been. Right now, it's 1 win apart. CLG wins this, they're tied with FlyQuest.
And that's the thing, right? What do you have to do to be a top team? Beat other top teams is one, but not lose to teams below you is the other part of the equation.
Well, the other thing, too, is it would be really scary for FlyQuest because they lost last time. CLG would have 2-0 head-to-head, so if they tied each other in the standings later, CLG would just be automatic higher, right?
Well, 1 game here. Leash on the red there by JayJ and Turtle. As Santorin will finish off that buff. Curious to see where Olaf goes. He is one of the more unique junglers as far as pathing choices you can make, but no matter what choices he makes, it will blitz through the jungle more than likely. You can see him just mashing down the Raptor camp. That's so quickly.
Yep. And he just moves on to the next one. Not going to go for a Scuttle Crab on the bot side. Wants to go top side because that's the side that has the really volatile matchup like you were talking about, Pastry, with the Jax and Riven. So run up there, get that Scuttle Crab. You see Wiggily on the bottom side. Maybe potentially even you start doing stuff like getting his Krugs or anything like that. You kind of want your blue, though, before you do that. Also, this is the new updated animation Olaf, so
Ooh,
pretty colors.
looks so shiny. I was wondering why the axe was sparkling on the ground.
Yeah, also new animation Riven, too.
Oh, that's true. I actually meant to ask Viper if that makes a difference, because he's played so many Riven games with those old animations that, and Riven is so precise.
Look at that craggy
he's actually
ice.
very used to those, as Wiggily will catch Santorin at the Raptor camp and deny any sort of steal, but Santorin will just fall back to his other side of the jungle.
Man, I don't think you could ever lose your axe if it has that gigantic, just craggy ice thing on it. On the
that's
ground.
on you for sure.
Yeah. Sometimes you do lose it in a team fight. You're like, where is that thing? Right there. That's actually a big upgrade in terms of seeing where it is. Also means people can avoid it a little better when it's on the ground. Try to lead you away from it.
Pushing lanes for CLG by the looks of things, at least early on. Stixxay and Biofrost down here are getting the wave shoved in. Zoe doing the same there for PoE. And Darshan has already taken early back.
Yeah.
In Battle Conqueror, it is time for double Doran's Blade.
Yeah, it's just trying to make sure he doesn't get destroyed early game. And you're playing against a Riven One Trick. Now, One Tricks, they have such intimate knowledge of matchups. And now for Darshan, it's how many Rivens has he played Jax against? And what is kind of the points in the matchup where you can flip it or you get stronger than her? When do you really have to press that advantage? Because you know Viper is going to know that better, regardless of how many Jax games Darshan has played. Viper would definitely have more knowledge of that. It's just, is it enough on Darshan's side? And also, I mean, does he have a jungler to help him out? That's another thing.
Right now he has Wiggily, who is snuck into that brush there. He's going to sneak into the next one, and Viper...
You don't see the blue line.
Yeah.
Yeah, we see it, but you don't see it. I actually tested it once where I was like, if I'm ganking my top laner, am I trolling him? No. you don't see it as the enemy team.
Viper, though, with some good sense, is at least playing away and trying to find Wiggily, but
And
now he's so far forward. He does land the first stun. He's going to try and flip away to safety.
Ooh.
There's the stun follow-up. There's the follow-up stun by Wiggily, and that'll be first blood over to Darshan.
That was perfectly done. Darshan flashes, knowing he's going to flash that way, reads it, and the same thing happens for Wiggily. The double stun to pick that one up, and the first blood to that top lane. That's exactly what CLG needed.
Viper was trying to play safe, but not safe enough.
Yeah, he even gets the stun here at the start. One stack, the flash follow. Even though he had used the third Q, it doesn't knock Darshan up or back, and it still gets stunned followed by Wiggly's stun. That was just flawless execution there on the follow with the flash.
Certainly was, and with plays like those, make sure you tweet your big plays to us at LOL Esports using the hashtag LCS Big Plays. Whatever your favorites were, get them out there on the internet, and I'll look at them.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times I have seen a Jax flash after people with Counter-Strike up, and then they miss it. Like, they flash after, and they just swing at nothing. It happens all the time, but PowerOfEvil gonna get some damage on Pobelter, has a heal. Is this the follow? No. There's an exhaust there on the ground.
He wants it, but a portal jump right now. Walks through the distance, but likely worth it. You can see Pobelter already gone back with 2 Doran's rings, actually. But as you said, Battle Crab is underway once more. Santorin trying to juke around. He finds the angle.
Suck it in.
But now the Ignite is down and Wiggly's back at it again. PowerOfEvil flashing forward, flashing again. Goodbye, Santorin.
The Zoe flash follow is just, it's always tilting. But it's perfect. It's perfectly done there. Like, legitimately, he had the exhaust, throws it down, follows with the staggered summoner spells, and is able to pick up his flash. Santorin almost made it out of that. I thought he was dead to rights as soon as the bubble came down. Didn't even matter.
And you asked this question in the draft, saying that Wiggily needs to show us more. In this game, we've seen so much already in these first 6 minutes. Even going to get the Gromp and get out safely.
And he has a big experience advantage right now over the Olaf, which is something that shouldn't happen. Olaf's going to go pick up his wolves, and this was great from PoE. I have to say, the fact that he corrals him here, throws it perfectly, that is the most annoying beach ball. You have to kind of get around it. Doesn't go for the blast cone. Gets followed by PoE, picks up the flash. Airy for the kill. Last little zap comes through.
Sparkles everywhere.
Yep.
PowerOfEvil gets the kill.
There were so many things flying off from there. Just like the W over and over and over again. And then the Airy.
Excellent champion. There's Darshan back here with Viper 1v1.
The worst part is I'm up here with you, who actually plays that champion. Don't tell them. I know. People
This
like
always comes up when we cast together,
because
by the way.
people like you and they shouldn't know.
You have to tell
you play
people
Zoe.
to play Zoe. All right, Drake's down here in the bot side for Santorin. So trying to get something back here in this game.
I'm just kidding. I love you, man.
You're right. The people do have a right to know.
I love you despite that. So
That's true. That is
that means
that's a big ask.
you're a man of character. But the dragon goes over. We have the Cloud Drake for them, and good block by Biofrost because it would have done more damage to Stixxay. So they get to stay in this lane. Stixxay did go for boots too early, so he's trying to dodge the skill shots, making sure he doesn't get hit by Ezreal Qs consistently.
A solid strategy. It looks like the CS has stayed pretty even.
Well, not
Battle
top
with that
lane.
tier, charging it up, yeah.
Not in their top lane. That top lane is that is tilted in Darshan's favor greatly.
And again, we have seen Viper, not get massive leads in lanes before. I think even fall behind perhaps on this Riven, but he does have a huge effect in team fighting.
Well.
That being said, Jax doesn't really want to team fight if he can help it. So there is an interesting dichotomy of Viper and his team fighting Riven versus the side lane pressure that Darshan will continue to apply more and more as this game goes on.
Yeah, the side lane pressure, they really have to worry about. Santorin also, him getting killed, he was kind of the backup for Viper. He's the one who's supposed to be helping them win the 2-on-2. They don't win the 2-on-2 anymore. Darshan has 1 kill, he's up in items, and then you have Wiggily, who's got 2 assists to his name, and he's got what was before a small experience advantage. It'll probably be made up here by the clear speed of Santorin, but the fact that the Sejuani is in the position she is as a champion that's supposed to scale, then the 2-on-2 is something that I don't think they can reliably play towards on the FlyQuest side anymore.
See Wiggily continuing to get crab on that side. Darshan with a huge smack with that Empower, and Conqueror proccing there as well. Blue buff going to get contested. Santorin does get it. PowerOfEvil already has his though, so that will not be over to Pobelter.
The crab block. Helped him out there. Wiggly's gonna pick that one up. And that's more topside pressure. They have the control wards down on that top side. The bottom side is just Stixxay and Biofrost just trying to clear minion waves out. That's it. It's just play safe with the Sivir, look to scale on this side of the map, because you're winning the top side.
I think if Stixxay doesn't see any other champion for the rest of this game, he'll be happy.
Yeah, I mean, I think Darshan would be the same way. Just run it down top, but Stixxay, in particular in this composition, absolutely. Just go ahead, shove. Ooh, okay.
And now you can kind of start to see the extra element being added to this. Yes, there is a pretty substantial CS difference here in mid lane. Pobelter will collect some plate gold by the looks of things, but PowerOfEvil is consistently leaving his lane to apply even more pressure to the top half of the map. He's invading the jungle, he's threatening Viper.
Yeah, and Viper on this champion that he's known for, not doing too hot after that first gank. He's still struggling. It's a 20 CS advantage. So this advantage is only growing for Darshan, who's keeping him in lane. The teleport is almost back up for Viper. Oh.
That's some nice geometry there. Ulti from Wiggily. Cleanse used by Pobelter. Duke's out of the way, and now Santorin's back around. Shockwave in. Here's Biofrost, though, to stop the festivities. Olaf still chasing through. Good axe actually slows to it, and the smite will force Biofrost to flash away. The last axe, not enough. Pobelter, he wanted it, but the ball gets blocked. Ignite now down for PowerOfEvil. Pobelter will walk away as JayJ roams up, but that was so close.
That was incredibly close. Biofrost has the E available, blocks the ball, and then blocks the damage too, because you'll absorb one spell when you first put up the Unbreakable.
And that was all Pobelter had. So he does live in about 29 HP, I believe the number was. WildTurtle farming away as everyone has left his lane, which feels pleasant. So Viper still feeling that pressure. Darshan building that lead, starting to hit the turret and get some of its plates. Viper is doing what he can to keep that from happening too much more. But Darshan, with all this vision, all this pressure that CLG are applying, that's why he's able to play so far forward against this turret, because
oh boy,
if someone tries to answer, CLG will be there first.
So I checked the gold. Everybody's got like 2,000 gold in the top lane. So they're little baby top laners right now. If everybody runs in there with items like a jungler ganks or a mid laner, you're going to be blowing these guys up very quickly because they have so much gold to spend. And if you're looking at like even the Zoe, who's got 1,300, you're looking at Pobelter coming up, you're ganking a guy with 2 longswords and a Doran's shield. So right now, the top laners, they're trying to back or find the window to back. Darshan doesn't have his TP yet, so he keeps forcing Viper to not back and TP in, kind of keep him in lane. And I'm waiting for the junglers to come top, but they can't right now because Mountain Drake's on the table. This is where you're juggling so many jobs.
I feel like the plate greed is what's keeping the top laners in the conversation, because Darshan is like, I can see those 3 plates. I can take those 3 plates. I have 2 minutes. Wiggly's going to start the Rift Herald for me. CLG deciding to, again, continue playing to this half of the map. Darshan is just, yeah, you said it, unrelenting. Will push as many minions as he can in towards your turret, and Viper, he just wants to get some gold, man. Or spend his gold, I guess you should say.
Yeah, as soon as he comes back with some items, because Riven without CDR is a very different champion than Riven with CDR. So as soon as he starts getting, you know, even Caulfield's Warhammers going, he'll feel so much better in this matchup.
But pressure will not stop as Wiggly is instantly to the top lane and channeling the Rift Herald.
They're going to use it to try and shut down this lane that looked like FlyQuest wanted to snowball with the start of the draft. And they're just going to give solo gold to Darshan. This is just
he can see the plates.
Rolling.
He'll collect them. My goodness.
Yep.
That is a disgusting amount of gold. Oh, Wiggily. Insult to injury. Viper forced to dash and flash away. That's probably going to give Shelly yet another chance. The Drake does go over to FlyQuest, but the story is tilted heavily in CLG's favor here in top lane.
That Rift Herald gave Darshan 930 gold. It smashed the turret for 310, kills it for 600 more, and ends up with 930 gold from that Rift Herald handed off.
Sleepy Santorin. The PowerOfEvil again. Even was back towards the top half, making sure that if he needed to provide coverage, he could.
So from Phase to Trinity Force, immediately.
Not bad.
Yeah, it's a 2.4k gold.
Oh, and a BF sword, you know.
Spear Sojourn's next, right? So Spear Sojourn, you usually buy it on other champions when you're snowballing. It's mandatory on Jax to just have these amazing fights later in the game. But he's up 2.4k gold.
Yeah, it helps that he's also snowballing in this game. You can see for Viper, just the Warhammer still has more gold to get, does decide on a BF sword and a Kindle gem, but like building on a budget here for this Riven.
I feel like snowballing is like, it's a term where it's got semantic satiation for me, where it doesn't mean like, it's not as impactful anymore because people use it all the time. He's not snowballing top lane, he's avalanching top lane right now. He has 150% of the gold that Viper does.
That's a big snowball.
It's a
Or I guess a lot of snowballs all collected together, ruining a mountainside. Something like that. We'll get there. As you can see the turret plate difference, basically all belonging to Darshan, with maybe a few here and there. In fact, that is, because he took that whole turret before 14 minutes, so all the plates belong to Darshan, all the item leads belong to Darshan, the experience lead probably belongs to him as well, and whatever side lane he chooses is his. He is still back towards the top half, and Viper has a big hole to try and climb out of.
Look at that. It's 2.4k gold. It's just an insanely. He's at 7,000 when he's at 4,500.
And, you know, it's not like CLG are dramatically losing other parts of the map as well. Yes, there are 2 Drakes for FlyQuest, which cannot be ignored. There's a TP down for Turtle, who's also collecting his farm, but I mean, Stixxay is his Essence Reaver first, so he's looking to continue his farming pattern. We've got the first item done for PowerOfEvil. Like, CLG are cruising at this stage.
Everybody's within a few hundred gold of each other. It's kind of WildTurtle with the Kleptomancy is up about, I would say, 550-ish over Stixxay. But then it's just that the gold lead pretty much is Darshan. He's the guy that people have been criticizing on this team, saying like he can only play Scion, or he's not carrying his weight. Right here, here comes the TP. They're trying to make this game blow up in their favor.
Guys, forgot about Jax. Good headbutt there for JayJ, but now WildTurtle, the target flashed in. Looking for the Braum stun. We'll find it. Goodbye, Ezreal. Goodbye, JayJ, as Stixxay gets that kill.
And they give another one over to Darshan. 2-0. He's got a bounty that's stacking up now. And it's time for him to go after more turrets in the side lane with nobody to answer. It's a perfect situation for the Jax.
And again, Viper had to play so far back in that spot. Oh, that hit. Oh. Good cleanse by Pobelter.
Yeah, you have to bring that against the Zoe or else you're just going to get blown up. And especially with a Zoe that has a Sejuani alongside it too.
Well, Darshan, though, going to get those turrets. A sound as satisfying as it was all those seasons ago when he was winning on this champion inside lanes on this team. It's just crazy to think of the legacy that this champion in particular has for Darshan.
Yeah, and he gets to kind of pull it out here against a guy who's known for his Riven and kind of show that he's still got it on this Jax and that he can hang with somebody who's even just one-tricking it. Great TP to make sure that he's able to join this fight, and then Darshan, the flash to follow WildTurtle after he had gotten headbutted over the wall. It was a long way that he traveled from JayJ's headbutt.
That's still enough to catch it. Kindle Gem now up for Darshan, and he moves quickly towards item number 2. There is an Infernal Drake also up in 1 minute. But wherever Darshan is, that's the strong side of the map. So CLG will park in bot lane and make sure that Drake is theirs.
Park in bot lane, they use Stixxay and Biofrost to shove out the top side, and then they're going to roam down. And you can see the CSD live right now, 8,300 gold. And that gold difference, almost 3,000.
Not far off. There's WildTurtle and JayJ at least keeping Darshan tethered to this turret. Can't see too much else. And again, the expectation is that everyone is in the area for this Infernal. You can also see PowerOfEvil. Despite that CS difference, looking okay. He's given up a lot actually in this game. It's probably worth pointing out to try and be there for his team. JayJ there with a flash. There's a shockwave. Biofrost going to be the pickoff, but Pobelter stopwatch. Good timing. No, Biofrost with the flash. Ooh. Does not die with the door up.
He gets out perfectly, and PowerOfEvil wants more.
Wiggily, what a snipe there with the ulti. Can't follow up though. We'll get the flash out.
Darshan
goes to sleep.
Darshan.
I mean, that's what it feels like.
Darshan.
Impending doom.
Darshan, get in there! Oh, he saw it!
Just smacked it.
Just picks it up. And it's the Spear of Sojin first for Viper, actually. I was surprised at that. So he went for CDR straight into the Spear of Sojin to compete with Darshan here. Viper's the one who doesn't TP, doesn't get involved in this fight at all. And it's just more going over to the side of CLG.
That does give the Drake that we expected over, as Stixxay and Biofrost going to do their best to chase down Viper. That Q hit.
Oh, Viper, when you're chasing him, you have to kind of watch out. Because if he can turn it, would be really, I don't even know, like the damage output that he can do with a Spear of Sojin is very high.
CLG play it safe. Stixxay more interested in taking the minions anyway. Darshan has promoted himself to FlyQuest jungler also. He takes down the Krugs.
Yeah, that's always the feels bad man as the enemy jungler, because now it's no longer yours at all. He just starts picking it up. Maybe he'll tax his own jungle too, but the top laner gets ahead so quickly. And this is reminding me of those days where top laners, you know, they're still the earliest level 18 on average in every game because they're by themselves getting solo experience. They start taking camps. And this is a snowball that they have to try and stop. You have to send people to it, and as the Baron comes up, you can't leave that side of the map unoccupied.
And Darshan has officially hit Spear of Sojin.
Yep. He's at that 2-item spike. This is a massive spike here. Still 3,000 gold up for him, so he is just doing work to get himself further and further in the lead.
For FlyQuest, we'll have to see what they can pull out here. They've got the Ezreal. They've got, I mean, perfectly good team fighting here. We've seen Viper's Riven, even in more dire situations, look good in the 5v5, but we keep saying it, it just doesn't feel like CLG are going to give them anything, any sort of fair team fight.
Yeah, and you keep talking about this team fight that FlyQuest want, and it can go their way. They have JayJ on the Alistar, they can get some poke and tons of damage from the Ezreal later, and then if they can get a good cow ball combo, because that last one only hit a single person. It looked like it was going to hit more with the Pulverize and the Orianna ultimate, but it just wasn't there. If it hit more people, then that team fight might look different for FlyQuest. They still need to fish for those opportunities, and that's really what could get them into the game, because Darshan doesn't have teleport for a little bit longer, but also you really want to avoid this Jax. You want to have a team fight that's swift without him being involved.
And the other end of it is what we've seen from Darshan all throughout his history. That team fight goes awry, that Jax is left alone, and you just lose the game straight up to this champion as CLG are trying to crack this mid-outer turret. Darshan again, continuing to play jungle. Will take down the big raptor. Also falling asleep at the wheel is Turtle. Not good, he needs to wave clear. CLG just have so much pressure around this map. And it does feel like the Baron threat is getting all too real.
Wiggily, they see him coming down from the top side. They have to avoid a snap engage here from CLG. Oh.
Good poke. Oh, JayJ so low, he's dead. Ignite.
Oh, man. That's the gamble. That's the gamble. You sit there going, I can take it. Gets hit by it, ignited after he ulties, and he's just down for the count.
That should give CLG enough siege pressure to knock down the turret that they've longed for. And I think at this point, as soon as this happens, as it does go down, with a bit of extra help from Demolish, an open map is a real nice playground for Jax. Is Viper going to get dove? Oh, there's the flash stun. Ult's going to miss from Wiggily, but Darshan straight under the turret. He's going to try for it. Doesn't quite go. Now Santorin here with Turtle. But CLG coming in to reinforce. Leap strikes back towards the turret there for Darshan.
PowerOfEvil? Oh, not able to get the Sleepy Trouble bubble, but that's going to allow them to keep this turret for a little longer.
And I feel like the overall strength of this top half of CLG is actually really cleverly put together. Zoe is great at assisting in any sort of skirmish. Especially if you have to face check around Fog of War around big objectives, she's so frustrating. And we've known forever the combination of Sejuani plus strong melee champion. Didn't quite work out there for a kill or the turret, but I mean, something goes a little more right for CLG and they're just smashing down these structures.
Yeah, it just means the next time that Wiggily visits that lane with ultimate, it's much easier to land it onto Viper. Oh, he's actually starting this one off before anybody's really there.
Nice ult by POB. I think Stixxay would have been in range with his ulti, but not able to follow up for the stun means that he does get away. Also had cleanse, so perhaps all right, but Pobelter certainly playing it safe.
Yeah, using the lower cooldown, but that gives an opportunity for CLG to push in, not have to fear a team fight breaking out with the Orianna ultimate, but it'll be back up shortly as the wave clear just continues on both sides.
Also another Mountain Drake on the way here. Darshan would love to add that one to his collection.
Oh yeah, it would help him just smack those turrets down very quickly. It's pre-mitigation, true damage. And then you go towards that Baron, it would really help out. So it helps them with the fact that they want this Zoe to siege on Baron, and then it also helps them in the split push too. So this is an absolute must-have Drake here. Uh-oh.
Santorin's already trunks.
He's not fit enough this time. Okay.
Goes to sleep, pops the Ragnarok, and that's going to be Drake to CLG.
And it was just right in that choke point, perfectly just laid down there. That's one of the things that Zoe's, you can tell when somebody's really played Zoe a ton is when they don't try to just hit you with it, they try to just cut off your path with it. And it goes a certain amount of distance based on, it goes a certain amount of distance outside of walls. So you have to push yourself to be a certain distance away from the wall. You can't just hug it directly or it might keep going through. So you have to step back like 200 units, throw it there for certain walls, step back like 300 and throw it on a different wall. So it's actually very precise.
Years of Ziggs play for PowerOfEvil have prepared him to bubble choke the CLG. Continue to ride their advantage. It's growing up to about 5k now. I mean, we haven't talked much about the dual lane either, but for completeness sake, Stixxay does have 2 items and is farming in towards that Infinity Edge relatively swiftly, but it really just has been the Jack show here for Darshan and the rest of CLG with a wonderful supporting performance by Wiggily.
It's funny because Darshan, he might have just been the key to victory versus FlyQuest in both their games. Last time it was him getting 11k HP on the Scion, scaling up. And this time it might just be the fact that he's on this Jax that got the early kill and shut down that risky Riven pick.
And I am still looking for that way for FlyQuest to tip the game back over. You always think about something like Baron, blue buff, steal over the PowerOfEvil, Shockwave connects, hits Wiggily, but he's tanky enough to shrug it off.
Yeah, they don't really have the damage for it yet. They're waiting for WildTurtle, who's going to have to scale a lot here. So you're looking at completing the Seraph's Embrace, getting another item on top of that.
Darshan, it's not very nice what you're doing to Viper! Killing spree as he takes down the turret and the top laner.
There's a difference between trying to be nice and trying to win. Nothing personal, but he's got to go for that W to even up the standings.
And we've seen this from Jax. It just hits a point where you smack the turret and ignore the enemy champion. If the enemy champion tries to do something, you kill them along with the turret.
Yeah.
Full Jax mode at this point as Biofrost tries to find the pick onto Pobelter.
Who has no mana. Pobelter doesn't have anything in the tank left, so he's just been wave clearing over and over again, and that's where they find the moment to just push him in. Now somebody has to go deal with Darshan, and Pobelter has to back for mana. This is going to be just pushes in all 3 lanes here for CLG.
And Darshan has so much solo pressure that the vision for CLG looks good around the Baron, so he's going to leap away to a ward. Predator Olaf is chasing him down with some backup by the Cloud Drake, but CLG just swoop in the mid and take down another turret. Stixxay also pressuring in that top lane as well. Every single lane is under fire here by CLG. FlyQuest are running out of time.
The Jax will just keep scaling, and he's got that spear ready to go. When he gets the Sterix as the next item, it just becomes almost unstoppable because he'll get that extra tenacity, and he'll have pretty much 2 dodges when he uses his spear. And right here, goes after the turret first. He has the Mountain Drake. He'll finish the turret before he turns on the Viper. He's like, all right, got the E up, pops the ulti, goes for it. And he'll have the E up again here for a second stun and just finishes him off. The spear does so much work in these fights to reset those low cooldowns.
Yeah, all the mobility in the world cannot save you from a point-and-click ability. I mean, Darshan just out-fighting Viper in every essence and actually adding a frozen mouth. So he's abandoned his team. He said, team, go have fun. I will go win the game.
It's not about, you know, there's not much CC for him to really have to worry about tenacity for when you look at the other team. This makes a lot more sense. Once he starts hitting Viper, he's not going to stop hitting him. Gets more of his passive stacks, gets himself cycling that W faster. This is actually really great as a pickup. And you look on the other side, Viper just now completes his Death's Dance. So a full item advantage here for Darshan, who also buys an Elixir.
Now, if they can find a way to kill Darshan, he is worth a ton of gold from that bounty. He is most of the strategy for CLG right now, and he is absolutely the largest point of power. So, again, it is tough for FlyQuest, very tough to do things in this situation. But if they find a way either on the top side, finding some kind of 4v4, or against Darshan, it doesn't take that much for FlyQuest to catch up in this game.
Yeah, and it looks like they just went for another skirmish there. Darshan pops his ultimate, trying to make something happen. Waiting for that moment where he can actually get in there. I don't feel like they're going to try to play towards him, though, because
they don't need to. He's so strong, he's paralyzing the rest of the map, and CLG are freely roaming across the rift, taking the Baron where FlyQuest have no vision. Santorin is around the area. He might try and find a steal. PowerOfEvil also just going to not miss the shockwave. Baron is low. It does go down. There's Biofrost again going through. Darshan is destroying everyone as PowerOfEvil collects the first kill. Next bubble lands. CLG moving forward, going to try and finish off the game. There's a double kill for PowerOfEvil. He's going to try and put it on his back as Stixxay grabs the third. There's 4. The ace inevitable as Darshan looks to leap towards Santorin. Good chilling smite to keep himself alive, but that is the only good news for FlyQuest.
Yep, he just gets to stay alive, but that is 4 dead in CLG. They're going to start pushing this down. They had the Baron. They had the team comp that allowed them to push all sides of the map, and Darshan getting fed, man, that just started the snowball from almost minute 5.
One Jax is all they needed as CLG look to knock down the Nexus turrets and add a win to their resume for this weekend. You will never forget my name again as Darshan carries CLG to victory.
An immaculate performance on that. That's how you thank a jungler for a gank.
I mean, absolutely. Wiggily, excellent job. I think rewriting a lot of the mistakes that he had made in the last weekend for CLG. We talked about them wanting to find more consistency to, find another way to even attack the game, given how one-dimensional they looked with a lot of their drafts. Conqueror swooping back in and Darshan maybe just regaining some confidence, if nothing else.
Yeah.
Might be the answer for CLG.
It allows them to kind of diversify. People were saying, all right, CLG have found this formula. Tank top for Darshan. PowerOfEvil on a carry that can scale. Stixxay will, bring up the rear and have some extra damage while Biofrost protects. Well, this game, he's not on that tank. They camp for him in the early game, get him a kill at 4 minutes, and then they're able to snowball from there, also killing the jungler. So Santorin isn't able to counter that pressure in the top lane, and that's where the snowball started from very early on.
Well, we're going to move on down as Roof has a winner's interview on stage with CLG's jungler.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. I am joined by Wiggily after their huge victory. What an outplay, what a game. I have to ask you, Wiggily, last week on Cooldown, you mentioned there were some mistakes CounterLogic Gaming had to fix to move forward. How do you rate your performance on minimizing those mistakes here today?
Well, I think we did just way better overall. There wasn't any individual blunders, people dying in lane, people getting caught, just a lot of stupid stuff. So I think this is how we can play when that stuff doesn't happen. So I'm just really happy.
Perfect. Final question is I want you to get back with your team. What a great win. Tomorrow, you have Liquid coming up. Can you produce the same results you did today?
Yeah, I think we can beat anyone. I don't think there's any team that's that far ahead of another team. Obviously, Liquid is the favorites right now, but I think any team can beat any team, so I'm pretty confident.
Awesome. Wiggily, thank you very much. Congrats on the win, and we will be heading over to the State Farm Analyst Desk.
Thank you very much, Riv. And we are into a game where CLG, I mean, what a good win. What a feel-good win.
Zion's is back.
And exactly. Signature champion for Darshan. Never doubted him. Jax, top of the order.
And the team with the lead didn't throw. They actually just won the game.
Yeah.
The team that smashed early game actually won.
Mark was having a crisis today with the
I was
games
like,
that were going on. He was like,
the Costa de Fiesta doesn't have a single room that's not a fiesta.
He turned to me and was like, is something wrong with me? Are you cursing the region, Mark?
Am I too negative? Yeah.
Yes, it's all your fault.
But honestly, it was like Wiggily said, that the improvements were so big for CLG. You know, they weren't making as many of the mistakes that he was talking about, the people dying in lane, a lot of that stuff that makes it very difficult to judge. Are they executing on their plan correctly? Was the plan even correct in the beginning?
Yep.
And if we look at what they drafted, they did have a very clear plan. With the Jax, I think into Riven is a very good counter pick.
Yep.
And then they sent the early gank there too to get him ahead.
And it was funny because I want to stop on the draft for a little bit and then go to that gank you're talking about because they blind picked the Riven. They gave CLG one chance to pick. And they're like, it's cool. We'll take Sejuani. We'll wait for your ban phase. And they banned Renekton. Okay, sure, good 1v1. And they banned Poppy, saying, Darshan's gonna play defensive tank, turn on the W, hide in her turret, he's gonna be tank-only player. And he goes, nope, we're bringing out the Jax, 1v1 me, bro. They get that gank off. Now it's time for the replay. Wiggily shows up and puts the smack down. I mean, it's exciting. And this is a textbook gank, right? You sit in that middle brush while you wait for the lane to push back.
Right.
Santorin should probably be here. This is trademark 1v1 top lane. The wave pushes back. You should shadow as a jungle, but
I think
it's a good
something
gank.
to know about that gank, though, is it was only set up because Zion Spartan pushed in for Darshan. Sorry, Jax is bringing back memories. He pushed in the wave early, and then everyone saw that he reset and bought an early Doran's Blade. And that's really weird for a person to do. I'm looking at that, I'm like, why are you doing that? But it made the wave come back, and Wiggly's chilling in the bush for about 30 seconds. At that point, you should know that there's probably something happening, but I didn't really understand why he backed, and that's only to bait out the wave. And I'm gonna say that's not gonna work all the time, but that's cool.
Yeah, if there's anything fishy like that in a carry top lane matchup, I'm always so skeptical.
Right.
Like, all right, don't take any bait up there because top lane carry matchups can get out of control.
And go ahead.
I was going to say, it's also really important that their bot lane didn't feed because recently, Stixxay and Biofrost.
That's Wiggily said.
Yeah, like Wiggily said it.
You
but
know what he was talking about.
You know what he was talking about. And like they have been struggling a lot. Even in recent weeks, Darshan's actually been playing really well. He was against Jace with J4 and was able to get some advantages in that lane. So the fact that they took him off tank duty, they put him on a carry, they played around him early, and their bot lane was actually the one who took this safe defensive matchup and went even was actually really huge.
And there's a lot of factors in this, right? We're in a bottom lane meta where like Sivir, Braum versus Ezreal, Alistar is a very standard 2-on-2. That's not a threatening lane on either side. That's a farm off in most cases. And okay, if the Olaf ganks or if Sej ganks, sure, that turns around. But what's also interesting, I want to call back to last year where CLG had one of the best, if not the actual best early game in LCS. And Darshan had like a 90% first blood rate. Like it was always first blood and always top lane. And one of the strengths that I remember him being sort of talking about was he always knew when to call his teammates over, what they needed for the gank to happen, and it always worked. They always got the kill. And if we're in a meta where it's all safe bot lanes and you get it play carry top versus carry top, Darshan just knows how to get first blood in that lane, how to get his team over and make that kill happen.
Right, he's such a veteran player that's been around longer than I have, and he has a lot of experience with these split pushing champions. If that's something that comes back into the meta, I'm really excited to see if he can go back to the old days of just like when he was on Team Coast and all the old CLG even a long time ago where he would just split push to victory. And you saw today earlier, who was the 0-4-0 Rise that won the game?
Broken Blade.
Broken Blade,
Right, people are just split pushing to victory. They don't care about the score, but this side, he's like got a good score and he's split pushing to victory too.
The big concern with that though is Wiggily, if he can have performances like this, because he didn't just influence the top lane, he influenced the mid lane, the jungle matchup, because he's playing tank versus Olaf, and if you get ahead of that with Sejuani, that matchup's over.
So Sejuani's out-leveling Olaf is ludicrous.
Yeah, so it was a big problem for them, but when Darshan was getting all those first bloods, it was Reignover, who was the early pathing god kind of guy. So if Wiggily can kind of step up into that role and then be more consistent with his mechanics in the mid to late game, that's a pretty good formula. Yeah,
and he was pulling Huhi too, who's also like the obvious roaming mid laner, so it was a different staff around him. But if Darshan can get these performances out of a rookie jungler in Wiggily and PoE, who's not quite that same player, obviously still good, don't get me wrong, that's impressive, and that could be really good things. CLG, of course, got more going on. Darshan had a couple of nice 1v1s on that Jax, taking down this poor Riven, and yeah, he clapped some fools.
Right, I was talking to Freak during this, and I was wondering, how many items does a Riven need to be able to beat a Jax? Because if there are even items, I'm pretty sure Jax just beats up a Riven. So does Riven need a full item, or just half an item? Is that enough to win? Me and Freak both don't play Riven or Jax to the extent that pros do. So I was like, maybe someone in Twitch or Twitter knows the answer to that.
Call for Shinshin.
Right, can Riven beat Jax 1v1 even items?
Oh, no.
Straight up?
He's just surprised that Darshan won the game at all. I mean, Jax should never win a game according to him. Yeah, to clarify your point, right, like, obviously Riven's ahead, or sorry, Darshan is ahead the whole time. Yeah, how much gold does Viper need for that matchup to not be so atrocious?
I don't know. That didn't look like a half item difference. I mean, he was a half item down when that fight happened, and so you're saying he would need a half item advantage.
Like,
so
add an extra Triforce on top. Is that fight now close?
Maybe? I don't know. It looked tough.
I would say a full item.
Yeah.
I think a full item in the Riven has it. The other thing that we were talking about, like stacking up the passive and the timing of the Counter-Strike and your ult timing with Spirit Sojourn and stuff like that is really important as well.
Yeah. Either way, Darshan obviously ran away with that one, so well played to CLG in their top lane in particular. Optic Gaming, of course, have a load onto the Rift as they're going into Game 5. They're going to try to take down Team Liquid. It'll be tough. We'll see if they can challenge the first place team when we return.
There's Biofrost again going through. Darshan is destroying everyone as PowerOfEvil collects the first kill. Next bubble lands. CLG moving forward, going to try and finish up the game. There's a double kill for PowerOfEvil. He's going to try and put it on his back as Stixxay grabs the third. There's for the ace. Inevitable as Darshan looks to leap towards Santorin.
Yeah, got a pretty big fender bender here.
State Farm's got you covered, Mike.
That's great to hear, Robin.